Scene script. Have you ever wondered what happens to the environment when the ghouls and goblins of Halloween retreat? As the last echoes of laughter fade, and the final flickering jack-o'-lanterns are extinguished, the world breathes a sigh of relief. Halloween, a night of fright and fun, has drawn to a close. But while the spectres and spirits of this beloved holiday may be imaginary, the environmental footprint it leaves behind is all too real. Halloween, a celebration steeped in tradition, is eagerly anticipated by millions around the globe. It's a night where children and adults alike revel in the thrill of the eerie and the excitement of the eccentric. Streets teem with witches and werewolves, superheroes and princesses, all in pursuit of the sweet rewards of trick or treat. But beneath the festive facades and sugar-fueled fun, there lurks a less palatable truth. The environmental impact of our Halloween revelries is a story that's seldom told. It's a tale of discarded candy wrappers and transient costumes, of plastic pumpkins and non-recyclable decorations. It's a narrative of waste and excess that haunts our planet long after the Halloween festivities have faded. For one night of revelry, countless costumes are purchased, many of which are worn for just a few hours before being discarded. Mountains of candy are consumed, leaving behind a trail of plastic wrappers that will linger in our environment for generations to come. Decorations crafted from non-biodegradable materials add to the ever-growing piles of waste that clog our landfills and pollute our oceans. Yet Halloween is not alone in its environmental transgressions. It's merely a reflection of the disposable culture we've cultivated. A culture where convenience often trumps conservation, and the allure of the new and the novel overshadows the need for sustainability. As we peel back the layers of this haunting holiday, a chilling picture begins to emerge. But fear not, for this story is not yet over. There are alternatives, eco-friendly options that promise a Halloween that's just as thrilling but far kinder to our planet. And that, dear friends, is a tale for another scene. Every year, millions of pounds of candy wrappers end up in our landfills. A chilling fact, isn't it? We're not just talking about a few discarded pieces here or there. We're talking about an avalanche of wrappers, enough to make a mountain, a monument to our sweet-toothed indulgence. Each year, the Halloween season sees the production of candies skyrocket. Just imagine the sheer number of candy wrappers that will be left behind. These little shiny scraps, often overlooked, actually represent a significant portion of the waste generated during this spooky season. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a small piece of plastic. How much harm can it really do? Well, let's unwrap this truth together. The majority of candy wrappers are made from a mix of materials. They usually contain a layer of plastic bonded with either aluminium or paper. This combination makes them difficult to recycle, and they end up languishing in our landfills instead. Landfills, as you may know, are a major source of methane emissions, a greenhouse gas that's 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Candy wrappers, in their non-biodegradable stubbornness, contribute to this problem. They refuse to break down. Instead, they sit there for decades, even centuries, silently adding to the environmental burden. And while they sit there, they also have the potential to leach harmful chemicals. Plastic, when exposed to sunlight and rain, can break down into microplastics. These tiny particles can find their way into our waterways and from there into the food chain, affecting wildlife and potentially our health too. So when you're enjoying that sweet treat, remember the not-so-sweet truth wrapped around it. Each wrapper might seem insignificant on its own, but together they form a Halloween horror story of their own. A story of waste, of pollution, of an environmental footprint far larger than any ghosts. And that's just the beginning of our Halloween nightmare. Let's continue to delve deeper into the shadows, uncovering the environmental impact of our beloved Halloween traditions. Did you know that 85% of all textiles bought in the US end up in landfills, including your Halloween costumes? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Each year, as the leaves begin to fall and the air turns crisp, we excitedly prepare for the season of spooks and scares. But there's a spectre that lingers long after the last trick-or-treater has retreated into the night. It's the ghost of our disposable culture, haunting our planet in the form of discarded costumes. Let's delve a bit deeper into this, shall we? Imagine, if you will, a sea of vampires, witches, superheroes and princesses, each donning a different costume every year. Now multiply that by the millions of people celebrating Halloween across the United States. Suddenly, that sea becomes an ocean of textile waste that sends a shiver down the spine of our environment. Studies show that a staggering 2,500 tons of used costumes end up in landfills every year after Halloween. That's equivalent to the weight of over 300 elephants. This waste contributes significantly to the already overflowing landfills, releasing harmful greenhouse gases as the materials decompose. And it's not just the costumes themselves. Consider the packaging that these costumes come in, the plastic bags and the cardboard boxes. These too get tossed aside, adding to the mountain of waste that we produce each year. But this story doesn't have to end in a nightmare. What if we told you there are ways to keep the spirit of Halloween alive without contributing to this cycle of waste? What if we could transform our disposable culture into a sustainable one? There are options, you see, like costume swaps, DIY costumes from thrifted items, or simply reusing costumes from previous years. By making these small changes, we can reduce our Halloween footprint and make a big difference for our planet. These figures are frightening, aren't they? But what if we could change that? Imagine over £1 billion of pumpkins rotting away in landfills after Halloween. Picture this: every October, the humble pumpkin transforms from a simple squash into the iconic symbol of Halloween. Families gather round kitchen tables, carving spooky faces and intricate designs into these seasonal fruits. But what happens once the jack-o'-lantern's flame flickers out? Well, the sad truth is that the majority of these creatively carved pumpkins end up in the trash, contributing to the mountain of waste that we, as a society, generate every year. In fact, the United States alone discards an estimated £1 billion of pumpkins after Halloween each year. That's the equivalent weight of over 8,000 blue whales, the largest creature to ever inhabit the Earth. But it's not just the sheer weight that's the problem. When organic matter like pumpkin rots in a landfill, it produces methane, a greenhouse gas that's over 25 times more potent at trapping heat in the atmosphere than carbon dioxide. This makes our Halloween tradition a frightful contributor to climate change, and it's not just America. This is a global issue. In the UK, for example, an estimated 15 million pumpkins are carved but not eaten each Halloween. That's enough to make a bowl of pumpkin soup for everyone in the country. So we're not just wasting food, we're wasting opportunities. Opportunities to nourish ourselves, to feed those in need, and to use our resources wisely. But don't despair. This doesn't mean we have to abandon our beloved Halloween traditions. It simply means we need to rethink them, to adjust our habits in a way that respects and protects our planet. Think about it. What if we used every part of the pumpkin? The flesh can be turned into delicious soups, pies and breads. The seeds can be roasted for a healthy snack. And the remaining shell, it can be composted, returning nutrients back into the soil. So how can we turn this around? Let's explore some eco-friendly alternatives. What if we could satisfy our sweet tooth without harming the environment? It's a tantalizing question, isn't it? The answer is yes, we can. Halloween, the season of indulgence in sweet treats, can indeed be celebrated in an eco-friendly manner. Let's talk about alternatives to traditional Halloween candy. The market today offers a plethora of choices that are not just delicious, but also kinder to our planet. Organic candies, for instance, are made from ingredients grown without synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. They come in a variety of mouth-watering flavors, from fruity chews to creamy chocolates, and are a healthier alternative for both us and the environment. Then there's fair trade candy. These are products that ensure the farmers and workers involved in their production are paid fair wages and work under safe conditions. When you choose fair trade, you're supporting an ethical supply chain that respects both people and nature. And let's be honest, doesn't a treat taste sweeter when you know it's been ethically sourced? Moving on to another fantastic alternative, plastic-free candies. The wrappers of traditional candies often end up as litter, contributing to the pollution of our land and oceans. Plastic-free options, on the other hand, utilize biodegradable or compostable packaging. These can break down naturally over time, reducing waste and minimizing harm to wildlife. And if you're feeling particularly crafty, why not make your own treats? Homemade candies can be a fun and creative activity, and it gives you complete control over the ingredients and packaging. Plus, it adds a personal touch that your trick-or-treaters are sure to appreciate. So this Halloween, let's make a conscious choice. Let's opt for candies that not only satisfy our cravings, but also respect our planet. Remember, every little bit helps when it comes to preserving our planet. Let's ensure that the only thing we leave behind this Halloween is a trail of happy memories, not waste. This Halloween, why not consider a costume that doesn't contribute to the landfill? Let's unravel the spools of thought on sustainable costumes, the eco-friendly ghouls and goblins of our Halloween celebrations. One word that brings a whole new world of eco-friendly costume ideas to life is DIY or do-it-yourself. This is where your creativity can shine brighter than a jack-o'-lantern on a dark October night. Think of all the items you already own, those forgotten scarves, oversized shirts and old hats hiding in the shadows of your wardrobe. Could they be transformed into a pirate's attire, a witch's garb, or even a superhero's suit? With a bit of imagination, they certainly can. For instance, an old, worn-out white sheet could make a classic ghost costume, while a bit of face paint can turn anyone into a spooky vampire or a fantastical fairy. Even old cardboard boxes can be repurposed into robot armor or a princess's castle. The possibilities are endless, and the best part? No extra waste. But what if DIY isn't your cup of witch's brew? Consider a costume swap. Gather a group of friends, neighbors or colleagues and swap costumes from previous years. It's a win-win situation. You get a new costume without contributing to the manufacturing demand or waste, and you also extend the life of an existing costume. Another option is to rent a costume. Many places offer this service, and it's a great way to ensure that the costumes get used year after year instead of ending up in the landfill after a single use. And lastly, don't forget about thrift stores. They are treasure troves of potential costumes just waiting to be discovered. Not only will you find something unique, but you'll also be giving a second life to pre-loved items. With a little creativity, we can reduce the environmental footprint of our Halloween celebrations. Let's make this Halloween not just a night of frights, but also a celebration of sustainable delights. Remember, every choice we make can help to preserve our planet for future Halloweens to come. Instead of sending our jack-o'-lanterns to the landfill, let's put them to good use. Now we arrive at a crucial part of our Halloween story, the pumpkin, an iconic symbol of this spooky season. Each year, millions of pumpkins are carved into spooky faces and then, just as swiftly, discarded without a second thought. But have you ever stopped to consider the environmental impact of this annual ritual? Pumpkins, like other organic materials, emit methane when they decompose in a landfill, a greenhouse gas over 20 times more potent than carbon dioxide. But fear not, for there is a solution to this pumpkin predicament. Composting is one such solution. Composting your pumpkin after Halloween is a fantastic way to return nutrients back into the soil. It's a simple process. Once the festivities are over, simply chop your jack-o'-lantern into smaller pieces and add it to your compost heap or bin. Over time, it will break down into a rich, nutrient-dense compost, perfect for feeding your garden. But composting isn't the only option. Why not consider cooking your pumpkin? Pumpkins are packed full of vitamins and minerals, making them a nutritious addition to your diet. From pumpkin soup to pumpkin pie, there are countless delicious recipes waiting for you to try. And if you're not one for composting or cooking, you might consider donating your used pumpkins to local farms or wildlife centres. Many animals, from pigs to deer, enjoy a good pumpkin snack. Just make sure to remove any candles, lights or non-edible decorations before donating. By composting, cooking or donating our pumpkins, we can help to significantly reduce the environmental impact of Halloween. So remember, when the ghosts and ghouls have returned to their slumber and the trick-or-treaters have ventured home, don't just toss your pumpkin in the bin. This Halloween, let's make a commitment to reduce our pumpkin waste. Together, we can transform this season of fright into a season of environmental delight. In the face of these sobering statistics, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But remember, every small action counts, and collectively we can make a difference. We've explored a plethora of eco-friendly alternatives that don't skimp on the Halloween spirit. From choosing sweets with minimal packaging to crafting our own costumes from pre-loved materials, every choice contributes to a sustainable Halloween. Consider composting your pumpkin lanterns instead of tossing them in the trash. You'll be amazed at how these small changes can lead to a significant reduction in waste. And don't forget, these practices aren't confined to Halloween. They can be incorporated into our daily lives, fostering a culture of sustainability that extends far beyond the 31st of October. The power is in our hands. Each one of us has a role in this eco-friendly Halloween revolution. This Halloween, make a choice that not only celebrates the spirit of the holiday, but also protects the planet we call home.